What is this? I stared at the small box of Plan B in my hand. My fingers tightened instinctively, the cardboard making a faint crinkling sound in my palm. We were always careful, always use protection. We shouldn't need this. So why was it tucked away in my girlfriend Chloe's purse? Chloe's small purse hit the floor. A box of pills scattered out along with her lipstick and keys. I walked over, bent down, and picked up the bag. I started gathering the items one by one. Suddenly, my fingers froze. I saw something that had no business being there. Plan B. Strange. We were always so good about protection. We never had a reason to use this. Unless. The thought hit me like a lightning strike. What was that? What's going on? Chloe's voice drifted from the bathroom, muffled by the sound of the shower. Nothing, just dropped a book. I got it, I called back. I quickly stuffed everything back in her purse, my voice so calm it surprised even me. The bathroom door opened, and Chloe walked out, wrapped in a towel. Her wet hair was draped over her shoulders, her skin flushed red from the post-massage heat. Ever since she'd strained her back at the gym, she'd been going for rehab massages 4 times a week. My eyes fell on her bare shoulder. There was a faint red mark there, like someone had kissed it. Hard. How was the massage today? I asked, trying to sound casual. Chloe's movements paused. For just a split second, she stiffened. It was great. Ryan said I should be fully recovered in another couple of weeks, she said, avoiding my gaze as she turned to find clothes in the closet. Ryan Masters. Chloe's massage therapist at that place, Serenity Spa. I'd met him once when I went with her to the first appointment. He was in good shape, with a handsome, clean-cut face. He had a gentle smile and looked much younger than he probably was. You've been going pretty often lately. I leaned against the doorframe, watching her reaction. Chloe pulled a loose t-shirt on, her back still to me. The therapist said consistency is key to seeing results. Her voice seemed distant. Oh, by the way, you don't have to pick me up tomorrow night. I'm grabbing dinner with some coworkers. I just nodded, not pushing it further. But the seeds of suspicion had already been planted. Later that night, after Chloe was fast asleep, I quietly got out of bed and picked up her phone. The password hadn't changed. It was still her birthday. Her message history was clean. Too clean. But her recent call log showed one number appearing with alarming frequency. It wasn't saved as a contact. I jotted it down, then checked her credit card statements online. 4 charges from Serenity Spa, each for a 2-hour session. That was far more than any physical therapist would recommend. The next day, I took a half-day off work and got to the coffee shop across from Serenity Spa early. Through the large glass window, I had a clear view of the entrance. At 3 o'clock, right on schedule, Chloe appeared. She was wearing makeup and a floral sundress I'd never seen before, practically skipping as she walked into the spa. I watched her, my expression unreadable. After 20 minutes, I paid for my coffee, crossed the street, and walked into the spa. Hello, sir. Do you have an appointment? The receptionist asked with a smile. I'm here to see Ryan Masters, I said, keeping my voice low. A friend recommended him, said he works wonders. The receptionist checked her tablet. Mr. Masters is with a client right now. It will be about another hour. Would you like to book a general massage? Or perhaps come back another day? Which room is he in? My friend insisted I see him for some lower back therapy. I pressed, acting like I was in the know. He's in room 5, she said, not suspecting a thing. But you'll really have to wait. That's okay. I'll just come back another time, I said after pretending to think it over. I turned and walked out, feigning disappointment. I wandered around the block for an hour until I saw Chloe emerge from the spa. Her cheeks were flushed, her lips looked slightly swollen, and her hair was a mess. My fingernails dug deep into my palms. The ugly truth was becoming clearer. For the next 2 weeks, I systematically gathered my evidence. I followed Chloe 3 more times, confirming each time that she went into room 5. I had my cousin Leo, who worked for Verizon, run the unsaved number from her phone. It belonged to Ryan Masters. I even installed the Find My app on her phone and linked it to my account. The more evidence I collected, the colder my heart grew. But I needed one final undeniable piece of proof. A moment that couldn't be explained away. 2 years together. I didn't want to end it based on suspicion alone. Finally, the opportunity came on a rainy night. Chloe texted saying she had to work late, but her phone's location showed she was at Serenity Spa. I drove through the downpour and got to the spa. I found the back door unlocked, probably a spot for employees to take smoke breaks. I didn't hesitate. I slipped inside, moving silently through the halls. I made my way to room 5. As I got closer, I could hear strange sounds coming from inside. God damn it. The cheating bitch is actually screwing him behind my back. I gripped the doorknob and gently turned it. It wasn't locked. My first impulse was to burst in and scream at them. But even though the voice sounded just like Chloe's, I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. I couldn't be 100% certain. To make sure there was no mistake, I reined in my rage. I slowly pushed the door open, just a crack. Leaning down, I peered through the narrow opening. The sight in front of me made my blood run cold. Any lingering hope I had shattered into a million pieces. They were tangled together in the most primal way possible. The room was thick with the scent of sex and massage oil. It made me want to throw up. So, what do you think of my technique? Feeling better now? Oh God, yes, so good. Better than your boyfriend. Don't talk about him. You'll ruin the mood. Every word was a knife in my heart. You bitch. You want protection with me, but with him, you'll just pop a plan B. Just wait, you too. Just you wait. My mind was seething, but in that moment, a strange calm washed over me. The anger was gone. After weeks of investigating, this was just the confirmation I expected. It allowed me to see the situation with chilling clarity. Slowly, the first draft of a revenge plan began to form. I thought for a moment, then quietly pulled out my phone and switched it to silent. I aimed the camera through the crack in the door and started recording. On the screen, Chloe's face was twisted in a kind of ecstasy I had never seen before. Ryan leaned down and whispered something in her ear that made her giggle. I hadn't heard her laugh like that in a long, long time. I recorded for 5 minutes, more than enough evidence. Not want to get caught and risk everything, I silently backed away and slipped out the back door. I stood in the downpour, the cold rain mixing with the hot tears streaming down my face. 2 years of my life gone just like that. The deeper the love, the darker the hate. I didn't go home. I drove straight to my cousin Leo's place. I told him everything and asked for his help. Leo agreed without a second thought. I need everything you can find on this guy, I said, sending Ryan Masters' photo and information to Leo. The more detailed, the better. You got it, man. I'm on it. Leo promised, his voice serious. A day later, Leo sent me a file. It was comprehensive. Ryan Masters, 35, graduate of a local physical therapy program. Works as a PT at a community clinic. Married. His wife, Victoria Thorne, is the only daughter of the owner of a major local construction company. The file described her as a heavy-set woman with a notoriously short fuse. They have a 5-year-old daughter. Victoria is extremely controlling. She monitors Ryan's bank accounts and tracks his every move. The job at the spa was a side hustle he was doing in secret, likely without his wife's knowledge. As I read through the file, a more complete revenge plan started to crystallize in my mind. I was going to make this pair pay a price they would never forget. I opened a planning app on my phone and began mapping out every step with the help of an AI assistant. Soon, a perfect, vicious plan was in place. I put down my phone and walked to the window. There were no stars in the night sky, just like there was no light left in my heart. The woman I once loved more than anything was now the person I hated most in the world. But that was okay. Soon, they would both learn the price of betraying me. The next day at Leo's house, I stared at the disgusting video on my phone, my fingers trembling slightly. The way Chloe looked and sounded on screen was a world away from the sweet, loving woman she was with me. I hit pause, took a deep breath, and placed the phone face down on the table. "You okay, man?" Leo asked, his face etched with concern. "I'm fine," I said, my voice unervingly steady. "The intel you got was perfect, especially the part about his wife, Victoria." Leo handed me a glass of whiskey. "That Victoria Thorne is no joke. I heard last year some nurse sent Ryan a flirty text, and when Victoria found out, she stormed into the clinic and got the nurse fired on the spot." I took a sip of the whiskey, the burn searing a path down to my stomach. "So that's why he's moonlighting as a massage therapist. He needed a place to take care of business." "What are you going to do?" Leo asked in a low voice. I swirled the ice in my glass. The show is about to begin. 3 days later, my chance arrived. Chloe was at her vanity, meticulously applying makeup. She was wearing a tight, lavender-colored dress I'd never seen before. She'd been like this a lot lately, spending over an hour getting ready before going out. Off to another massage? I asked, leaning against the doorframe. Her hand, holding the mascara wand, paused. Yeah, the doctor said just a few more sessions, and I'll be fully healed. Does physical therapy require a full face of makeup? I walked over to her, picking up a bottle of perfume from the vanity. And perfume? Ethan, what's your problem? Chloe put the mascara down, her brow furrowed. I let out a cold laugh. What's my problem? You should be asking yourself what your problem is. How many times have you been to that spa? Always for 2 hours, and you always come back with your hair a mess and your lips swollen. Do you really think I'm that stupid? Chloe's face went pale, but she quickly composed herself. You're accusing me? You're spying on me. Are you insane? I'm just getting treatment. Ryan is a professional. He graduated from a top physical therapy program. Ryan, you sound close, I interrupted. Why don't you tell me what the plan B in your purse was for? And don't tell me it was for us. We don't use it. Chloe stared at me, her lips trembling. Then, her fear turned to rage. You went through my bag, she shrieked, as if that was the greater crime. Is that really the point? I yelled back. What the hell is going on between you and Ryan Masters? You're being completely irrational. Chloe shot up from her chair, her eyes welling up. I work so hard every day. My back hurts so much I can't sleep. And when I finally find something that helps, you accuse me of cheating. I grabbed her wrist, pretending to be furious. Tell me, are you sleeping with him? Chloe was clearly stunned that I would ask so directly. She wrenched her arm free and started sobbing hysterically. Let go of me. I can't believe you'd accuse me of something so horrible just because I'm getting therapy. Anyone who didn't know the truth would have been fooled by her performance. Too bad for her, I had the video saved on my phone. Time to collect some interest, I thought. Answer me, I roared. Are you sleeping with Ryan Masters? At the same time, I raised my hand and slapped her across the face. The sharp crack echoed in the room. She held her cheek, looking at me in disbelief. You hit me. In her mind, I was the guy who catered to her every whim, the guy who wouldn't even let her do the dishes. And now, I just slapped her. You bastard. How dare you hit me? I'll kill you, she screamed, lunging at me with her nails out. I wasn't about to put up with that. I slapped her again and again until she was too stunned to fight back. I was 6'2" and worked out regularly. She was barely 5'4" and stood no chance. Realizing she was outmatched, she turned, grabbed her purse, and made a run for the door. I blocked her path. What's the rush? Eager to run to your lover. Get out of my way. Chloe shoved me. The moment she touched me, I slapped her again hard. You're not a man. We're done, I said coldly. Go find your massage therapist. Get out of my sight. Tears streamed down her face. It was hard to tell if they were from the pain, the anger, or just part of the act. But seeing her face start to swell gave me a deep sense of satisfaction. Ethan, you'll regret this, she cried, grabbing her coat and phone. She slammed her shoulder into me and stormed out of the apartment. The door slammed shut with a deafening bang that seemed to shake the whole building. This time, I didn't stop her. I listened to the sound of her heels clacking down the hallway until they faded. The rage on my face dissolved into a cold, mocking smile, as if the last 10 minutes had never happened. I walked to the window and watched as Chloe angrily hailed a cab. Unsurprisingly, the direction she gave the driver was towards Serenity Spa. I picked up my phone and called Leo. She's on her way. After hanging up, I opened my laptop and did a quick edit of the video I'd taken that night. I made sure their faces were clearly visible, but trimmed it in a way that wouldn't reveal how it was filmed. Then, I created a new, anonymous email address. I attached the video file and typed Victoria Thorne's work email into the recipient field. My cursor hovered over the send button. For a few seconds, I hesitated. Flashes of the last 2 years with Chloe played in my mind. The first time she tried to cook for me and burn the pot. The way she'd hide in my arms when we watched horror movies on the couch. The tired but happy smile on her face when I'd pick her up late from work. But all those memories were instantly erased by the filthy images from room 5. My finger came down hard on the trackpad. A message sent notification popped up. I closed the laptop and poured myself a tall glass of whiskey. To revenge, I said, raising the glass to the empty apartment before downing it in one gulp. 10 minutes later, I used a burner phone to call Victoria Thorne. Hello, Mrs. Victoria Thorne. Hello. I'm just a concerned citizen. Spit it out, she barked. Her angry response made me smile. A short temper was good. It made things more entertaining. Right? I said smoothly. Your husband, Mr. Ryan Masters, is currently working a side job as a massage therapist at Serenity Spa. He's quite popular. I paused to let that sink in. He's especially popular with his female clients. In fact, he's in room 5 right now, giving a very thorough full-body massage. They're having a great time. As for proof, I sent it to your work email. Without waiting for a reply, I hung up. I knew she would handle the rest perfectly. After another 10 minutes, I picked up the phone again and dialed 911. I reported suspected prostitution taking place in room 5 of the Serenity Spa. And now, all I had to do was let the chaos unfold. 10 minutes later, I was sitting in the same coffee shop across the street from Serenity Spa. Through the window, I had a perfect view of the entrance. Just as I predicted, a black Mercedes screeched to a halt in front of the spa a few minutes later. A large, imposing woman stormed out of the car. It was Victoria Thorne. She was flanked by 4 burly men who looked like bodyguards. The group of 5 barged straight into the spa. I nodded to 2 men I'd hired sitting at a nearby table. They immediately understood, grabbing their cameras and following the group inside. Less than a minute later, screams and the sound of things smashing echoed from the building. I was on a video call with one of the men I'd sent in, and I had a front row seat to the beautiful, brutal show. Victoria had blown past the receptionist and marched straight to room 5, only to find the door locked. At her signal, one of the 6'5" bodyguards simply lowered his shoulder and splintered the door off its hinges. Crack! Inside, at the crucial moment, Chloe and a naked Ryan Masters froze, their bodies still connected. They slowly, painfully turned their heads toward the demolished doorway. Ryan's face went white with terror. Honey, I can explain. Explain? You haven't even pulled out yet. You son of a bitch. You live in my house, you spend my money, and you dare to cheat on me? Victoria roared. You put a scarlet letter on my name? Get him. 3 of the men rushed in and started beating Ryan mercilessly. Victoria and the 4th man lunged for Chloe. You fucking homewrecker, I'm going to kill you. The bodyguard pinned Chloe down while Victoria unleashed a fury of slaps. Then she went at her with her nails out, leaving deep, bloody scratches across Chloe's face. Drag them outside. Let everyone see what this shameless trash looks like. Yes, ma'am. They grabbed Chloe and Ryan and started dragging them out. No, please don't. Chloe cried in terror. Ryan was already turning purple, clutching his groin and howling in agony. A moment later, on the sidewalk outside the spa, Chloe and Ryan were thrown naked onto the wet pavement. Passers-by stopped and stared, and soon, a crowd formed. Phones came out, cameras flashing. Whoa, what is this? They're not wearing a thing. What's going on here? Isn't it obvious? The wife catching the husband and his mistress. The crowd murmured and pointed. All Chloe could do was cover her face, no longer caring that her body was exposed to the entire street. Not that it mattered. With her hair matted and her face swollen and bleeding, even her own parents wouldn't have recognized her. Victoria stormed out of the spa, still screaming. Keep hitting him. And you bitch, you dare to seduce my husband. Even from across the street, I could hear her every word. A divorce, you're not getting a single penny, and you'll never see your daughter again. A few minutes later, as the crowd grew larger and the scene descended into total chaos, police sirens wailed in the distance. Victoria's bodyguards pulled her away, and she disappeared into the crowd after screaming one last threat. This isn't over. You too. Just you wait. I sat in a coffee shop, watching it all with cold detachment. They were getting exactly what they deserved. When the police arrived, Chloe and Ryan were taken to the hospital. Victoria and her crew were long gone. I had my guys send an edited clip of the video to the police, hoping it might be enough to get them held for a few days on a solicitation charge. A day later, when Chloe was released from the police station, her face was still burning with pain. She wore a face mask and dark sunglasses, terrified of being recognized. Her injuries had been minor, so after being treated at the hospital, she was taken in for questioning. She had never felt so humiliated in her life. She could feel the cops' contemptuous stares. One of them even snuck a photo of her swollen, bruised face. In the end, because no money had been exchanged for services, The police classified the incident as a domestic dispute, an affair that fell into a moral gray area, not a criminal one. Chloe was free to go. They handed her back her phone. She didn't dare call her parents. Her only option was her best friend, Jessica. I got into a fight. I'm at the police station. Can you come get me? She stammered, her voice shaking. When Jessica arrived, she almost didn't recognize Chloe. She was speechless. You're Chloe? Oh my God, this wasn't a fight. It looks like you got jumped by a gang. Chloe just looked down, tears falling onto the pavement. Please, don't ask. I just want to go home and rest. I'm so tired. Jessica opened her mouth to say something, then closed it. With a heavy sigh, she helped Chloe to her car. On the ride, Chloe's phone buzzed nonstop. It was all text from Ryan. Chloe, I'm so sorry. I never thought this would happen. My wife is divorcing me. I have nothing left. What are we going to do now? Chloe let out a bitter laugh and blocked his number. Useless piece of shit. If it weren't for him, she wouldn't be in this mess. Besides, she'd heard at the hospital that his injuries were severe. The doctor said it was anyone's guess if he'd ever be able to get it up again. She touched her swollen face, a fresh wave of hatred washing over her. But where could she go now? She scrolled aimlessly through her phone and saw more than a dozen missed calls. They were all from Ethan. Should she go back to Ethan? But he had slapped her and broken up with her yesterday. She had been the one to storm out. Wouldn't going back now be a total humiliation? Besides, the bruises on her face hadn't healed. As she hesitated, her phone rang again. It was Ethan. Her finger trembled. After a few seconds, she answered. Hello, she said, her voice hoarse. On the other end, my voice was low and gentle, almost choked with emotion. Chloe, where are you? I've been looking for you all night. Chloe was stunned. He was worried about her. I'm at a friend's house. She lied automatically. Chloe, I'm so sorry. I was completely out of line yesterday. My voice was filled with regret. I shouldn't have accused you. I definitely shouldn't have hit you. I looked into it, and I was wrong. I misunderstood everything. Can you forgive me? Chloe's heart skipped a beat. He didn't know what happened at the spa. Right, I was so beaten up he probably wouldn't recognize me from the news clips. He regretted it. Man. Chloe bit her lip, forcing a wounded tone. What's the point of saying that now? Do you have any idea how much you hurt me? I know everything. I sighed heavily. Chloe, can we meet? I have something I need to tell you in person. What is it? There was a pause on the other end of the line. Then I spoke softly. I want to marry you. I'll agree to all of your family's conditions. Chloe's eyes widened, her breath catching in her throat. Marry her? The $90,000 diamond ring, the down payment for a house in the Pearl District, the brand new Audi. All of it. I continued. Actually, I already bought the engagement ring. I was going to propose on your birthday, but after our fight yesterday, I was so scared I was going to lose you. My voice was impossibly tender, even trembling slightly. Chloe, please, just give me one more chance. I promise, I'll never doubt you again. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. Chloe's heart was pounding. Ethan was going to propose. Her mind raced. Her reputation was in tatters. Her job was probably on the line, and that loser Ryan was a lost cause. But Ethan, he had a good job, his own apartment, and he'd always treated her like a queen. If she went back now, she could salvage the relationship and get married. As for Ryan, who gives a damn about him? There was just one problem. Her face. If they met now, he'd know everything. She took a deep breath, softening her voice. Ethan, I was wrong too. I shouldn't have lost my temper with you. So, can we meet? I asked. No, not yet. Let's wait. I'm afraid you'll change your mind again. I think we both need a few days to cool off, she said, trying to sound considerate. And I want the proposal to be on my birthday. I want it to be special, full of meaning. Can you do that? Of course, Chloe. Anything you want. We'll do it your way. Just take care of yourself these next few days. I will. After hanging up, a triumphant smile spread across Chloe's face. It seemed her luck hadn't run out after all. She immediately turned to Jessica. Ethan is going to propose to me. Jessica stared at her, shocked. What? But yesterday you two were. Oh, please. All couples fight. It's normal, Chloe said, waving her hand dismissively. On the other end of the line, I hung up the phone. The gentle expression on my face vanished, replaced by an ice-cold smile. You want a proposal full of meaning? Oh, don't worry, you fucking bitch. I'll give you a proposal you'll never forget. 3 days later, Chloe's birthday party went ahead as planned. She spent 3 hours on her makeup, using the thickest concealer she could find to cover the bruises on her face. She added a pair of oversized sunglasses for good measure. Before leaving, she checked her reflection obsessively, and only when she was satisfied that no one could tell did she grab her purse. "Chloe, are you sure you want to go?" Jessica asked, looking worried. "Your face hasn't fully healed." "Of course I'm going," Chloe snapped. "Ethan is proposing to me tonight. How could I miss it?" Jessica looked like she wanted to say more, but in the end, she just sighed. "Okay, just be careful." Chloe ignored her and walked out the door, her heart full of excitement. The party was in the VIP room of a high-end restaurant downtown. When Chloe pushed open the door, she gasped. The room was decorated like a fairy tale, with balloons, flowers, ribbons, and a champagne tower she loved. Even better, the room was filled with her friends and coworkers. She was even more surprised to see her parents, who she hadn't seen in over a year, sitting at the main table. "Happy birthday, Chloe!" Everyone cheered. Chloe was so moved, she almost cried. She took off her sunglasses and walked over to her parents, a perfectly crafted, shy smile on her face. "Mom, Dad." Her father, David Anderson, smiled warmly. "You need to be a good partner from now on. No more being selfish." "I will, Daddy." "Thank you, everyone." I stepped out from the crowd, wearing a sharp suit and holding a huge bouquet of roses. I looked at Chloe with deep affection and dropped to one knee. "Chloe, happy birthday. Tonight, I want to give you a very special gift." Chloe's heart hammered in her chest. Her cheeks flushed. She watched as I pulled a small velvet box from my pocket and slowly opened it. A brilliant diamond ring sparkled under the lights. "Will you marry me?" My voice was gentle but firm. The room erupted in applause and cheers. "Say yes. Say yes." Chloe coyly covered her mouth, her eyes shining with tears. She was just about to nod. Suddenly, the door to the room swung open. A delivery guy walked in. "I'm looking for an Ethan. I have a surprise gift here from Ms. Chloe Anderson. The note says it's to be delivered at this special moment. A video of your happiest time together." The delivery guy was holding a small USB drive. Chloe froze. "What?" I didn't prepare a surprise. I stood up, took the USB drive, and feigned delight. "Chloe, you got me a surprise too? You're so thoughtful." Chloe was completely bewildered, but with everyone watching, she couldn't deny it. She forced a smile. Maybe Jessica arranged it for me." Jessica was already shaking her head frantically from the side. "It wasn't me." By then, I had already plugged the USB drive into the room's projector. "Since it's a gift from Chloe," I announced with a smile, "let's all watch it together." The large projector screen descended, and everyone gathered around, curious. A terrible feeling washed over Chloe. But before she could do anything to stop it, the video started playing. The screen lit up with the filthy, intimate scene of Chloe and Ryan Masters at the spa. The video quality was so clear that every word of their conversation could be heard perfectly. Chloe's moans and Ryan's dirty talk silenced the entire room. Chloe's face turned deathly white. She screamed, turn it off now." But it was too late. The video continued playing, right up to the part where Victoria Thorne and her goons burst in and beat them both senseless. The room was utterly silent. Everyone, her friends, her coworkers, her parents, stared at Chloe with a mixture of shock and disgust. My face instantly turned dark. I spun around, my expression one of pure fury as I roared at Chloe. "This is your happiest time together? You've got some nerve." "No, it's not real. It's a deep fake. Someone is framing me." Chloe shrieked hysterically. Her tears smeared her carefully applied makeup, revealing the yellowing bruises underneath. "Framing you?" I sneered. Before Chloe could say another word, her father shot up from his seat and rushed over to her. He slapped her twice, hard, silencing her. "You disgraceful thing. When you were a kid, you were lazy and a liar, and I let it slide. But this, how could you do something so shameless? You're some daughter." He turned to me, his face full of shame. "Ethan, my family has failed you. I am so sorry." "It's not your fault, sir," I said, my voice filled with sorrow. The guests murmured, their sympathy for me turning into open contempt for her. Happiest time together. She sure looks happy. And she has the gall to say she was framed. What a two-faced bitch. I always thought she was so innocent. Turns out she's a total slut. No, it's not like that, she sobbed, still trying to defend herself. Her father grabbed her wrist. Then what about these? He yelled, roughly wiping the foundation from her face to reveal the cuts and bruises beneath. Where did you get these injuries? Was it from that day at the spa? Chloe looked as if she'd been struck by lightning, frantically trying to cover her face again. You have the guts to cheat, but not the guts to let people see the consequences, her father roared, his voice cracking with anger and disappointment. You have brought shame on this entire family. I don't have a daughter. Her mother then walked up, slapped Chloe so hard she stumbled and fell to the floor, and dragged her husband out of the room without a backward glance. She couldn't bear the humiliation. After all the sacrifices, the money Chloe had stolen as a teen, convincing her siblings to drop out of school to pay for her college. This was how she repaid them. She wished she had never brought her into the world. I watched Chloe's parents leave, then turned my gaze back to her. I gave you everything, and this is how you repay me. I continued to roar, playing the part of the betrayed lover to perfection. I bought us a house. I was going to ask you to be my wife tonight. Chloe was curled up on the floor, sobbing. She saw the looks in everyone's eyes turn from shock to pure, undisguised loathing. Her best friend, Jessica, stood on the edge of the crowd, her face a mask of disgust. I had no idea she was this kind of person, Jessica announced loudly to those around her. I barely know her. Then, something even more terrifying caught Chloe's eye. In the corner of the room, a video camera was set up on a tripod, its red recording light blinking. She pointed a trembling finger. What? What is that? I followed her gaze and smiled coldly. Oh, that's the livestream setup. I wanted everyone to witness our happy moment. I guess they're witnessing your downfall instead. No, Chloe screamed, scrambling toward the camera, but I grabbed her arm. It's too late, honey. I whispered, my voice so low only she could hear. By now, the entire internet knows what kind of worthless slut you really are. That was the final blow. She collapsed completely, crying uncontrollably. Her elegant image was destroyed. Her makeup was a clownish mess, and her expensive dress was wrinkled and stained. Please, Ethan, forgive me, she begged, kneeling on the floor. It was a moment of weakness. I love you. I took a step back, looking at her with revulsion. Don't touch me. You make me sick. I turned to the remaining guests. I apologize for this disgusting scene. The party is over. Please go home. People began to leave, whispering amongst themselves and casting scornful glances at the pathetic figure on the floor. Some even took out their phones to snap pictures of her, the camera flashes illuminating her ruined face. I looked at her one last time and turned to leave. Chloe lunged forward and grabbed my leg. Don't go. Please don't leave me. I have nothing left. I pried her fingers off me, my voice like ice. You should have thought of that before you decided to cheat. No. Chloe's eyes went wide as the realization hit her. This was all planned. I stood up, turned away, and walked out of the restaurant without looking back, leaving Chloe alone on the floor amidst scattered rose petals and the broken pieces of the ring box. The cheap, $2 fake diamond I'd put inside was my final gift to her. The restaurant manager walked over, his face a mask of disgust. Miss, you need to leave. We're closing. Numbly, Chloe staggered to her feet and stumbled out of the restaurant. It had started to rain, the cold drops washing away the last of her disguise. Her phone was vibrating nonstop with an endless flood of messages and missed calls. Angry questions from relatives, messages from friends cutting ties, and even an official termination email from her company. She shakily opened Twitter. Her name was trending. Hashtag Chloe Anderson cheats. Hashtag worst proposal ever. Beneath the hashtags were thousands of comments, mocking and vilifying her. A taxi pulled up. The driver rolled down the window. Need a ride, miss? Chloe nodded blankly and got in. The driver glanced at her in the rearview mirror, his eyes widening in recognition. Hey, aren't you that girl from the internet? Shut up and drive, she shrieked. The driver shrugged and fell silent. Outside the car window, the rain fell harder, mirroring the collapse of Chloe's world. She leaned her head against the glass, silent tears streaming down her face. She knew her life was over. And standing in the shadows of a building not far away, I watched it all unfold from the passenger seat of a black sedan. I took out my phone and sent a text. Victoria, our arrangement worked out perfectly. Yes, she's completely finished. I took one last look at the taxi carrying Chloe away into the rainy night. Let's go, I said to the driver. 2 weeks later, I was standing under the neon lights of a downtown pedestrian mall when I saw them. Ryan Masters was sitting on a dirty piece of cardboard. Both of his legs, bent at unnatural angles, were wrapped in crude, stained casts. In his hands, he held a rusty tin can, which he shook mechanically, producing the faint rattle of a few coins. His once perfectly styled hair was now a greasy mat, and his expensive clothes had been replaced with filthy rags. The handsome face that had so captivated Chloe was now covered in a scraggly beard, his eyes utterly vacant. "Spare some change," he mumbled. A few feet away, Chloe was kneeling on the cold, damp pavement. In front of her was a crooked sign that read, "Please help with medical bills." Her long hair was a tangled mess, and a large, waterproof bandage covered most of the right side of her face. The edges of a hideous scar were visible, stretching from her cheek to her ear. She kept her head bowed, refusing to make eye contact with anyone, simply repeating the motion of bowing over and over. I watched them for a moment, then turned and walked away, the sound of my shoes echoing on the wet pavement. End.